The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFfangeek coming to you with my first Transformers haul for the month of January of 2025. I don't know if this is going to be my last one, but with the way things have been happening with my life right now, it's a 50-50 chance that it will be. But anyways, I've got 4 Transformers action figures in recently, all courtesy of Amazon.com. So first up, the figure that I was most surprised to get notified from Amazon, which arrived this past week. I thought it wasn't going to get released until later this year, but we have the first action figure from Wave 2 of the Age of the Primes line, and it is the Voyager class Autobot Heatwave from the Rescue Bot series. So yes, Heatwave has finally arrived, the Autobot firefighter from the Rescue Bot. That has been given a brand new Chug-style Voyager-class action figure here in Age of the Primes. Heatwave is a retool of the Legacy Bulkhead action figure that came out back in 2022. So yeah, really impressive. With how Heatwave turned out. So yeah, that was a really nice surprise from Amazon. And then released exclusively on Amazon, the next 2 Transformers action figures that I've added to my collection are the 2 Transformers Age of the Primes Amazon exclusive Wreck and Doom collection. So these are 2 box sets, each containing 2 deluxe class Transformers action figures. We've got the first up. We've got during Legacy Year 1, if I can reach it over here, just to use as an example. For the Legacy Year 1 line, we got action figures of the Wreckers, and then last year during Legacy United we got action figures based on the rivals of the Wreckers, the Decepticon Mayhem Attack Squad, which the faction symbols used here next to their names are the 2 faction symbols. This is the Wrecker symbol right here. It's a modified version of the Autobot logo, and then the Mayhem Attack Squad's symbol. It's kind of like a monstrous creature eater. So instead of doing the Wreckers and Mayhem Attack Squad separately, we're now getting versus packs. We've got a member of the Mayhem Attack Squad fighting a member of the Wreckers. So the first 2-pack released from Amazon, which is one that I will give my thumbs up here, even though it's still in the box. It's Carnivac versus Fistatron. In the Generation 1 line, Carnivac was one of the Transformers Pretenders, but unlike most of the Pretenders, such as Bludgeon or Skullgrin, who transformed into monstrous creatures, most famously Bludgeon transformed into a dead samurai with a skeleton face, Carnivac, his Pretender shell, was a wolf, and when you opened it up, the inner robot inside transformed into a mechanical wolf. So the idea was that the Pretenders didn't just transform into humanoid creatures, they also transformed into beasts as well. So that's who Carnivac was. He had a good story in the Transformers comic books, and that's why he's been given a new deluxe figure in the Age of the Primes line. And standing opposite Carnivac is Fistatron. Now, for years, until this 2-pack was released, I incorrectly thought that Fistatron's name was Fistatron, and that he used his fists to fight his opponents. But no, I was wrong. There's only 1 letter T in his name, so his name is actually Fistatron. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fistatron, his name in the original Transformers Generation 1 series, which I believe he was one of the very last Transformers characters to be released in Generation 1 before Generation 1 gave way to Generation 2. His original name was Iron Fist, and so, yeah, he's one of the few Transformers characters who, unfortunately, Hasbro wasn't able to get a registered trademark name to his original, the same name as that he originally had in Generation 1. So that's what I'll be calling him from now on, Iron Fist. I think Iron Fist is a much cooler name than Fistatron. But yeah, there's the box art for the 2 of them. Here they are on the back of the box. And just like it, in the Generation 1 line, Carnivac, he was not a headmaster, he was just a pretender, but because he's a repaint of, 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 because he Transformers Titans Return, Weird Wolf, aka Wolfwire. He's a headmaster now, and his headmaster partner is named Decepticon Survivor. He's based on a character from the comic books that Carnivac interacted with, so it's nice to see Survivor now transforms into Carnivac's headmaster. Whether or not Transformers fans and collectors who are aware of Carnivac and the Decepticon Pretenders will embrace the idea of him being a headmaster now instead of a pretender is up to them to decide. Me personally, I don't mind. I'm just glad to finally have a modern action figure of Carnivac. A shout out to Patriot Prime Reviews. A few years ago when he reviewed when he was doing videos of the Generation 1 Pretender Enders who transformed into creatures. That's how I found out about those characters. And then also another shout out to Chris McFeely. His Transformers The Basics video series did a in-depth look on Carnivac. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to have the Decepticon Pretender Wolf Beast now being given a modern deluxe class action figure. And I don't care if it's a repaint and a retool of a previously released figure. Someone pointed out that all of Amazon's exclusive Transformers action figures are repaints and retools. There's no original molds that are released exclusively through Amazon.com. But yeah, I'm just really excited to have those guys. Hoping to get around to doing a review of them soon. And the next 2-pack is the one that I personally was the most excited for, and it's Spinister versus Topspin. So yes, for a brief while in the IDW comic books, the Mayhem Attack Squad had Spinister as one of its members. I don't know if all 3 of the Decepticon Double Target Masters were members of the Mayhem Attack Squad. Yeah, I'm just really liking the images here. And for those of you wondering, unlike Amazon exclusives that were released in the past, the box art for the Wreck and Doom 2-packs, the box art doesn't form a giant mural, so they aren't necessarily designed to interact with each other. Instead, you've got the same background image used on both box sets. Kind of, sort of. They actually, the direction of them, they are mirrored from each other. The sides of the box art that they're faced on. Basically, you've got if you look at the background image on the 2 Wreck and Doom collection boxes, the rocks that they're standing on, they face one direction on the 2-pack for Carnivac and Fistatron, and they face the opposite direction on the 2-pack for Spinister and Topspin. So yeah, they don't make them. Unfortunately, you can't combine them to make a mural, unlike the Amazon exclusives released in the past. But for these Versus box sets, it is kind of nice seeing them have almost the same motif, where on the Decepticons you've got fire, and on the Autobot side you've got ice, so you've got like good versus evil in the background image, so that's pretty nice there. But the main reason why I was more excited for the 2-pack with Spinister and Topspin was because of this figure I showed off a moment ago. This is the Legacy Year 1 Wreck and Rule Deluxe Class Autobot Twin Twist action figure. And when Twin Twist was released in the Diaclone line, a lot of Transformers fans and collectors jumped on the opportunity of getting this mold because Twin Twist originally had a figure in the Titans Return line, just like the figure Carnivac's repainted and retooled from Titans Return Weird Wolf. And so, for many Transformers fans and collectors, it's kind of a thrill to see Transformers action figures that were released way back in 2016 and 2017, which is now the world is living in the year 2025, so we're talking 8 to 9 years ago. But of course, Twin Twist was one of 2 in the Generation 1 line. He was one of 2 Autobots that were known as the Jump Starters, and so it took 3 years from 2022 to 2025, but Twin Twist has finally been united with his partner Topspin. So yeah, that's why I was more excited for this 2-pack, was because we finally got the Diaclone version of Topspin to stand beside the Diaclone version of Twin Twist. And it was actually because this figure was announced, I originally passed on Twin Twist entirely. But when it was announced that Topspin was getting his Diaclone figure released in a 2-pack with Spinister, I jumped on the opportunity and scooped up Twin Twist from Amazon. And for a while, Twin Twist, for a really long while, he was one of the figures from the Wreck and Rule Legacy Year 1 Amazon exclusive line that didn't really sell that well, so there's still copies of him available. well, at retail price up until I want to say last year in 2024 when Amazon finally ran out of stock, and it's only been scalpers since then that have had Twin Twist for sale on Amazon. But bottom line is, Topspin being one of the figures in this box set motivated me to get the Twin Twist figure, so I'd have both of the Diaclone versions of the Autobot Gem Starters. And just like their Generation 1 / Titans Return counterparts, Topspin and Twin Twist paint jobs are inverted. Twin Twist is a mostly blue Autobot with a red torso, while Topspin is the opposite. He's a mostly red Autobot with a blue torso. And one thing I wish Hasbro would have done, but I guess they lost the registered trademark for it, is that just like in the Titans Return line, Topspin's headmaster partner has been given the name Freeze-Out. Twin Twist in the Titans Return line, his headmaster partner was named Flame-Out, and so in my original review of Titans Return, Topspin, and Twin Twist, their headmaster partners being named Freeze-Out and Flame-Out, Aim-Out, it kind of made Hasbro almost do like they did here with the background art. Right here in the boxes we've got fire and ice on one side, and that's a reference to the constellation Gemini. Up in the stars. Gemini, I don't quite remember from Greek mythology, but basically it means fire and ice coming together. We've got twins who are opposites, that are intertwined with each other. So I personally enjoy that Hasbro went with that direction with having Topspin and Twin Twist be almost like Gemini, where you've got fire and ice interacting with each other. But unfortunately, even though Topspin's headmaster partner Freeze-Out has retained his name, when Twin Twist was released during the Legacy Year 1 Wreck and Rule collection line, Flame-Out, Hasbro unfortunately, I guess they didn't have the registered trademark for the name, because Flame-Out actually here is not named at all. So officially Flame-Out is nameless, while Freeze-Out managed to retain his name as well. But yeah, just like Topspin and Twin Twist, Freeze-Out and Flame-Out have opposite paint jobs to each other. Freeze-Out has a red head and arms with blue legs, while Flame-Out has a blue head and arms with red legs, so that's another nice thing to see there. Here and how their paint jobs are opposites of each other. And for Spinister, unlike his first action figure, Spinister here he's a repaint of the original Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Spinister figure that was released in 2019. This version of Spinister, his paint job is based loosely more on the box art that his Generation 1 action figure was packaged in, and the paint job that he had in some of IDW's comic books, whereas the Siege Spinister figure from 2019, his paint job was based directly on his Generation 1 action figure and the images of him in the Generation 1 comic books that were published by Marvel. So it's basically a case of Generation 1 versus IDW Spinister. They're comparing the two figures here. Now, the Siege version of Spinister, his two Target Master partners were technically released in the Siege line. One of the Singe was released in the at mass retail as an individual Titan Master, but he was one of the last Titan Masters released before Titan's Return ended and gave way to the Power of the Primes line in 2018. So Singe was kind of hard to find, because even though he was released at mass retail, he was one of the last Titan Masters that was really... Battle Masters, I keep getting them mixed up. He was one of the last Battle Masters released in the Siege line. I got the Titans Return and Siege lines mixed up, because that's what Topspin and Spinister are repaints from. But Siege gave way to the Earthrise line in 2020. Singe was hard to find, and he was sold separately. And then Spinister's other Target Master partner, Hair Splitter, who got a new registered trademark name when he was released in the Titans Return line. He was the most hard to find of the trio of Spinister and his two Target Master partners, because the Titans Return version of Hair Splitter, I keep getting them mixed up again, Siege Hair Splitter, in addition to having a new name, he was released in a box set with the Transformers Siege version of Skywarp, which was released exclusive to Amazon like these guys are. So, Yeah, actually, on that note, both modern Chug-style figures of Hair Splitter have been released exclusively at Amazon. Go figure. So, but yeah, this Siege version of Hair Splitter, got it right that time. He was released in the box set with Skywarp, which became very hard to find, and infamously, after the initial stock Hasbro got for the Siege version of Skywarp in 2019, that was it. The initial stock was the only stock of Siege Skywarp that Amazon had back in 2019, and so Skywarp of the Tetrajet War for Cybertron Siege Seekers that were released not only in the Siege line but in repaints that were released in subsequent lines. Skywarp's become the most hard to find of them all. It was announced that Siege Skywarp was going to be given a secondary release East because it was so hard to find, and Hasbro has decided to give Transformers fans and collectors who demanded hard-to-find action figures that they couldn't obtain to be given a second release. Other figures that have gotten that already have been a Legacy E-Leader class, Galaxy Shuttle. His initial release became really hard to find. Same thing with a Legacy Deluxe class Cosmos. Cosmos was one of the deluxe figures released in Wave 1 of Age of the Primes. His Legacy release was also hard to find as well. Also, unlike the Siege version of Spinister, his two Target Master partners of Singe and Hair Splitter, they're not sold separately. They're all available in the same type box. Unfortunately, Singe and Hair Splitter, even though Hair Splitter now has the same registered trademark name he had in Generation 1, so Singe, Hair Splitter, and Spinister, they all have their original Generation 1 names back. They're not repaints of the Siege Battle Masters, the repaints of Legacy Year 1 Needle Nose's two Target Master partners, so just like Legacy Year 1 Needle Nose and Legacy United Decepticon Quake, who are Spinister's fellow Decepticon double Target Masters, there's the Age of the Primes version of Singe and Hair Splitter, to put it bluntly. They're direct repaints of Needle Nose's Target Master partners, Solar Beam and Zigzag, or is it Sunbeam and Zigzag? I can't remember. I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, they're straight up repaints of Needle Nose's Target Master partners. So compared to their Siege action figures, for some Transformers fans and collectors, Singe and Hair Splitter are a bit of a downgrade, since they don't have any articulation in the arms and legs. But for those wanting Spinister to come with his Target Master partners at the same time and not be sold separately, similar to what we got with Needle Nose and Quake during the Legacy trilogy, it's now happened with Age of the Primes. So for those who missed out on Singe and Hair Splitter, their Siege counterparts, you can now get the Age of the Primes version with Spinister, and add them to your Transformers collection. A lot of Transformers fans and collectors have been saying that because the original Siege version of Spinister had a paint job based more of his Generation 1 action figure, that they're going to keep him, but maybe give Age of the Primes Singe and Hair Splitter to their copy of Siege Spinister, since he has the paint job that more closely resembles his Generation 1 action figure. As I said, Age of the Primes Spinister, his darker shade of purple. This paint job is the one based off of Spinister's box art, which was a darker shade of purple that was used on the final version of his Generation 1 action figure, and also some of his appearances in IDW's comic books. So, ironically, this new version of Spinister, it's less G1 accurate compared to Generation 1 Spinister than the first release of Siege Spinister. I'm glad I was able to say that without twisting my tongue. But yeah, I'm just really excited for this 2-pack. I do confess, I originally got it just for Top Spin, and Spinister was an added bonus, but now that I have him here in my Transformers collection, yeah, I think he's still pretty good looking, and they're all still pretty nice here. I've shown off the Siege version of Spinister when I reviewed Legacy Needle Nose and Legacy Quake, but I will do a size comparison with the Siege version of Spinister again when I get these guys out of the box. And on that note, when I get eventually around to reviewing Spinister and Top Spin, because Top Spin is designed to interact with Twin Twist, I will do a double review and review both of these box Amazon exclusive Transformers sets at the same time. I'm really thrilled to have the Diaclone versions of the Jump Starters and another action figure of Spinister. Now, Twin Twist wasn't the fourth action figure I bought from Amazon. I actually bought him a few months ago when Top Spin was originally announced. I've just been waiting for Top Spin to be released and finally arrive so I could unbox both of the Jump Starters at the same time. But for those wondering, the fourth action figure, it's the least exciting of the ones I got. I only got this figure as an afterthought to complete just to have another limb bot for my collection of Combiner Wars and Power of the Primes combiners. But it's somewhat special because it was the first action figure in a line of Transformers that a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have enjoyed having around, and when Hasbro announced that they were going to end it, the line had been so successful that there were more fans who were disappointed to hear that the line was ending than Hasbro deciding to continue it. But my last Transformers purchase from Amazon for June of 2025, for this initial bout out, was the first ever Transformers action figure released in the Transformers Generation Selects line, and it is this figure right here. It is the red version of Dinobot Swoop. So yeah, this is the version of Swoop that has the paint job based off of his Generation 1 action figure, where his torso is red and he has shinier grays compared to the version of him that was released at mass retail in the Power of the Primes line in 2018, which had the blue torso, which was based more off of Swoop's appearance in the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon, in which his torso was blue and his robot mode head, the helmet, was red, whereas on this version it's based more off of his Diaclone action figure and Generation 1 action figure, where the torso was red and his helmet was black, similar to had black highlights similar to the other Generation 1 Dinobots. So yeah, I just got Red Swoop to have enough limbots for a combiner I was going to put together. I'm probably not going to do a review of Red Swoop just because I don't have any interest in making a video review of him. But I will definitely be doing reviews on Top Spin and Spinister along with Twin Twist. That will be a double review. And I'll also be doing reviews of Carnivac and Physitron, aka Iron Fist, and also of Autobot Heatwave. I'm really excited to have him join Chase and Medics in my collection of Rescue Bot Transformers figures. Whether or not we're going to get more Rescue Bots characters after Heatwave is uncertain at this point. But thank you guys all so much for watching. This has been the TFfangeek. This has been my latest haul of Transformers action figures courtesy of Amazon. And until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.